Well, greetings and salutations, test takers. This is Series 7 Guru coming to you from my off-grid studio, getting my kicks out here on Route 66. We do this every Tuesday, 5 p.m. Pacific time. If you are joining us, let us know where you're joining us from and what exam you are taking. It's helpful we know what exam you're taking if you have a question. If you have a question, just put a SIE or Series 7 with a capital Q followed by your question. That helps me kind of know what exam you're taking because, you know, how they test, it might be overlap, but how they test on one exam may be different than how they test on the other exam. If you're looking for a free supplement to your paid study materials, my YouTube channel is the best. It's a buffet. Take what you like, leave what you don't. It's organized in playlists. So you find your series. SIE, for example, there are 4 series playlists for the SIE. They're in suggested watch order. The videos are in suggested watch order. If you're looking for a particular topic, I see that one of our things out of the gate is somebody's asking about an equity indexed annuity. If you go to the channel search bar and put that in, 6 videos will come up, all titled No Negative Reset. And so if you're wondering what the test implications are, I'm going to answer that as soon as I get the housekeeping done. But I already have 6, 7, 8 videos where if you just put equity indexed annuity in the search bar, all that content magically appears. If you're looking for a paid supplement, if you don't have a Kaplan Q Bank already, I highly recommend the Kaplan Q Bank. It's about $55.80 on Series 7, $50, $60 range with my 15% discount code at checkout. I think my friend Brian Lee, Test Geek, Exam Prep LLC, has the best, I think, supplement, paid supplement. He's got a video course, all in on his videos, his PDF with a great correlated practice test is about $100. The discount code there is Guru20. All right, let's get going on some questions. Well, every other Tuesday, we do a live stream overtime. We just finished that, by the way. I've been doing it because of the time change. I've been doing it before we actually start this session. And I'll probably be doing that every Wednesday. I think I'm going to change it to a weekly jam session. And you can book that off my booking page if you want to join us. A little different than this because we have a whiteboard and we can actually do some more stuff and go over more stuff. You can see the replay of the session that just concluded. I'll probably post it tomorrow. And then in 2025, I'll probably be doing it every Wednesday. And I'll probably be combining that with our office hours, which I do. So I think I'm just going to make a Wednesday weekly jam session is what I'm kind of thinking. We have other Guru Nation communities. We have a Facebook community called Baby Brokers Doing Hat Tricks. Baby Brokers is the term of endearment for rookies in the securities industry. Hat trick are 3 successes, in this case, 3 testing victories, SIE 766 or SIE 663. You get the general idea. We also have some Reddit communities. Boy, a lot of people posting their testing victories today on our Reddit communities. For the Series 6, it's our Series 6 for SIE and 7. It's our Series 7 for 63, 65, 66 NASA exams. It's our Series 66. And for 9s, 10s, 24s, and 4s, it is our Series 24. If you do miss our live stream, it is available as a podcast. One of the questions that came up and was submitted early, and if you want to submit a question early, you can certainly do so at Livestream at guruexamprep.com, is the definition of retail communication and what is testable about retail communication. What is testable about retail communication is the definition. The definition is more than 25 pieces of communication to prospects and clients in a 30-day period. Retail. That means a living, breathing human being, not institutional. What follows from this definition is that retail communication, 2 test questions, what's the definition? What follows from that, this is for FINRA exams, is it requires pre-distribution approval by a principal. And the other definition that's testable is correspondence. Again, what is the definition is testable, and then what follows from the definition. The definition of correspondence is 25 or less than a 30-day period, and there the principal can approve that pre or post distribution. So know the definition of retail communication, know the definition of correspondence, and know what principal approval, whether it's pre for retail communication or pre or post for correspondence. All right, we first question in the queue is, boom, for Series 66, do I need to know the method to compute the amount to be credited to the account? I don't know if I'd call that the method to be credited, but let me just tell you, Megan, this is the test question. And as I said, put that in the search bar. You'll see 6 examples of me walking you through the type of question you're going to see. It's not a security because here's the test point. No negative reset. You can't lose your money. It's a non-securities product. It's an insurance product. You know, insurance agents would like to expose customers to market kind of returns, but they don't want to take our 6 or 7. And so I say, hey, what I have available for you, Megan, is an equity indexed annuity. This annuity moves up, never down, in relationship to the referenced index. Let's say the referenced index is the S&P 500. And let's say you invest $100,000, Megan. And let's say the insurance company says, we're going to give you an 80% participation rate. So market return is 20. 20% of 100 is 20 grand. But remember, we said you only get 80% of that return. So 80% of the 20 grand, the reset from point to point, year to the year, right? In this case is 116,000. Now what they like to say is that the market return is negative 10. What is the reset? Well, the reset is 116. What high water mark means is you're never going down from wherever your highest point was. So, you know, next year the market goes up 20, we credit you another 16 grand, it's 132, that's your new high water mark. That's not what they'll say on the test. It's just never going backwards is the point. And they might even give you a minimum guarantee of maybe 2% or something like that. So to answer your question, is it testable? It absolutely is. Go to the channel search bar. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll link in the video description to an illustration of, I think, a very kind of question you might see on your exam. So I'll link there and you can find that link and you can look at how it's tested. Retaking my 66, my lowest scoring areas have been Federal Securities Act and state federal regulations for IAs and BDs. Well, the first thing I would tell you is that I would change, even though test specifications say that that's called regulations. I really think it's registrations. So it's not really federal regulations. It's, do you know how we register a broker dealer? How do we register agents of broker dealers? How do we register investment advisory firms? How do we register investment advisory reps? I wouldn't worry. Would I like you to know everything, Ryan? The answer is yes. But if you only can know one thing, the state is more important because they're the ones that are making you take the test, right? So I would prefer you're stronger on the Uniform Securities Act than you are 33 and 34, for example. Would I like you to know what all the answer is? Yes. I don't think you should be taking more than one practice exam a day because you're trying to do remediation. You know, this idea that I had a guy tell me he took 4 practice exams. He was proud of himself. I go, that was stupid. Because, you know, that 3rd or 4th one, we're not getting a reliable score and you're not giving your time for remediation. So I would like you to be in the mid 70s. I have some people I'm working with, you know, unfortunately, as we come down this holiday, Merry Christmas, by the way, I only have time to really be working with people I'm already working with. And I have quite a few people here. I think it's a smart move. They're testing next week so they can enjoy their Christmas and their New Year's. I think it's a wonderful thing. Anyways, what I was telling them, the timeline is going to be collapsing on us. And so I said, okay, so I'm your, I don't know what am I, have gun will travel. I'm not your corporate trainer. You know, I work for you, but you know, if I were your corporate trainer and I'm still your accountability partner, how many practice tests am I going to see between now and your test date, the 19th and 20th, when I have these people testing? Is that going to be 2 practice tests or 3 when we can take our final? I think 3 or 4 is what I'd like to see a week out, get 3-4 marks where we know where we're at. I'd like you to be in the mid 70s. I have somebody I'm working with and their highest score so far is 71. I said, listen, we get a lot of people who pass between 60 and 70. It's not where I want you to be. So in these next 3 or 4 marks we're going to get, I'd like us to be in the mid 70s. So practice tests, remediation, intellectual inventory by doing another practice test. We're not trying to learn this stuff. On the last live stream, Ryan, I had somebody who asked, should they just be studying practice tests? And I said, well, no, that's stupid. That's not what you're supposed to be studying. He was saying that he, on social media, got a 50. And I said, well, that means you shouldn't even be new practice tests to begin with. If you got a 50, that means you don't even know what you're being asked and you don't even know what the answers are being offered to you. You need to lay more base. You need to go read the book. You need to do practice quizzes. You need to watch videos. And then when you have enough base, take a practice test. We don't really care what that first score is. We'd like it to be in the 60 range because below 60 means you still have a knowledge deficit, right? So that would be my recommendation to you. What's the best methodology for hitting the minutia of the 24, Aaron? That is the challenge. I think both 10 and 24. I consider it, Aaron, to be a barbell, nothing in between, right? You got the minutia and then you got the judgment. So I don't have a magic trick for that, unfortunately. I know that Kaplan offers what's called a quick sheet, and STC, I think, calls it crunch time facts. And I think Knopman has a version of that. I think that's as close as you're going to come to being able to find that minutia. So if you are using Kaplan, it's called the quick sheets. I'd go look at that document. You're using STC crunch time facts. Every vendor, Knopman, has their version of this, past perfect. So that's how I would handle the minutia. Round 2 of the SIE. All right, Callie, let's get it done, man. You're going to pass 2 tests on Friday. You're going to pass your SIE, and then you're going to pass a test of your resiliency, how you responded to that negative kind of a misfortune, right? So we're sending you good testing vibes. You've already seen the dragon once. You're going back into the cave. This time you're going to slay that SIE dragon. Chattanooga, Tennessee. Woohoo. All right, Grayson. All right, where's my bell? In It's a Wonderful Life, Clarence says every time a bell rings, an angel gets their wings. And so, Grayson, what we do is we ring the bell for victorious test takers like yourself. Listen, I don't know why you wouldn't take my word about what's on the SIE, but if Grayson, we always appreciate victorious test takers coming around, and it's a good morale boost for everybody. And if you want to ask Grayson what her thoughts were and what her testing experience on this first leg of her testing journey, I'd like to come out of the gate, get that first testing victory. I don't know if you're going on, Grayson, to a 6 or a 7, or maybe you're just taking the SIE. But now remember, be careful if people are telling you what their draw is, because every draw could be a little different. So I don't know if Grayson felt like she got a dream draw or a face of death draw, but she took it down. You got to be able to take down any draw you get, any draw. Merry Christmas, Aaron. Yeah, Forkham, our Sun Devils, man, looking pretty good, right? I'm not used to us being good. We haven't been good in a long time. So I think our coach, Aaron, at the Sun Devils, Aaron, I'm simpatico, because sometimes people say, oh, you got that great basketball team. I go, no, that's the Wildcats. That's our nemesis. So, but, and I'm not one of those people, Aaron. I thank you so much, because I'm the same way. If it can't be the Devils, then if the Wildcats are in the NCAA tourney, I will root for them. And, oh, man, I got some of my alumni who say, you can never do that. I'm like, oh, my God, lighten up. So thank you. SIE, last week, and also failed the 6. Well, today we just got to come back again and get that 6 done. So here's your for your 6 or for your SIE, and here's for getting that 6. I hate those high scores by 2 points. Usually, in that, even sponsoring broker dealers know that's not a knowledge deficit problem. It's some of the problem. The first thing I always ask people when they merely miss the mark is, did you change answers? That could be, it could be that, could be some other variable, but boy, you want to be confident in the execution of your study plan, particularly this next time. You want to be confident in yourself, and you want to be confident in your answers, most importantly on test date. I will link today to a podcast episode I have in the video description called You Failed, Is It Over? Spoiler alert, it's not. It has my 5 recommendations about how to respond to that misfortune. So I'll link that in the video description either tonight or tomorrow morning. Usually I don't get around to editing things until the morning. 65 in February. Wow. So that's a timeline. You got a good timeline there, right? Plenty of time. If I start studying today till then, will it be enough? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Jeff, there are people who, I don't know, there are probably some people in this live stream, Jeff, looking at that time like, oh, well, God, I wish I had that. Right? So just make sure, remember that inch by inch, 65 is a cinch. So you got to make sure you're executing on what you said here, right? 4 hours Monday through Thursday. I like it. 6 to 8 on the weekends. I think that will get it done. About if you're going to test in February, 7 to 10 days out from your test date, we want to take a 65 practice exam to see where you're at. I've got a guy testing tomorrow taking his 65. I'm pretty sure he's going to pass. We did his final mark on Sunday, and we did a shared screen practice test, and he got a 82 or 3, so I think he's going to be fine. But you want to get that score and find out. I had somebody today, I said, listen, I'm not going to spend any more time to you until you get a practice test because we don't know where you're at. We got to find out where you're at because the timeline is going to start collapsing. So you got to take that first practice test score to find out where you're at. 66, woo! There you go. So Bryce, you completed the hat trick, right? The hat trick is SIE 766, 3 testing victories in succession. I love it, Bryce. I come into your life for a reason and a season. The reason is to help you pass those exams, complete that testing journey. The season is how long that takes. And so it looks like my reason and my season with you, good news, I guess, is over. You don't have to unsubscribe. I have people who unsubscribe. You don't have to. You can stick around if you like. YouTube is on me to start charging for channel memberships. And, because, they see we've got over 5 million views and we've got 41,000 real subscribers. I have competitors who buy tens of thousands of fake subscribers. And they want me to sell channel memberships. And I say, well, I don't know how that would work because, to be honest with you, if I start charging people $30 a month or something, and then they're done like Bryce, I mean, I don't want to deal with Bryce calling me and saying, hey, they're still charging me $30. So YouTube assures me that Bryce, I could charge for channel memberships and that I wouldn't have to deal with any back office stuff. And I go, free is a good price point. Past the 65. Woo! Chad, that's 65. I'll tell you, some people are incredulous. I think the 65 is the toughest test. And the reason I say that, Chad, is because the 65, as you know, doesn't have the narrative thread that a 7 has. So the 7 has a narrative thread. Can you find a customer? Can you open an account? Can you make an investment? What happens backstage? And that thread is kind of lacking in the 63. It's all over the place. 7 next week, Tuesday, and I feel like I know nothing. Any advice? Well, Josephine, I would want to know what your practice test scores are. The proof is in the practice test score, not how you feel. So I would like data, data. Data would be, how are you doing on a practice test? If you're testing next Tuesday, you should have already done at least a practice test. If not by today, certainly by the end of close of business tomorrow. As you remember, earlier in this live stream, I said 7 to 10 days out. You're 7 days out. We need a practice test score. So that's my advice. Your action item is to take a practice test. When you're bright-eyed and bushy-tailed tomorrow, get that score. Circle back. You can send me an email if you'd like it, dean@guruexamprep.com, and tell me what that score is, and we would know more. Marcel, welcome, Marcel. I haven't seen you in a while, Marcel. You usually were here pretty often. Yeah, we'd like to chat. No problem. You just let me know. Best email, Marcel, is dean@examprep.com. guruexamprep.com. Let me get it on here. Where is it? I think I have it here somewhere. Boom. So just send me an email, Marcel. We'll set that up. Brian right now is at Suncoast watching the big screen It's a Wonderful Life. So that's not why he's with us tonight. He's watching the movie there in Las Vegas at Suncoast. And we're planning on checking out their steakhouse, right? So I think that's our plan when you come visit us. Uh-oh, what happened there? Comments. There we go. Let's see. Marcel. Hello from San Francisco. Oh, Matt, I miss San Francisco. I spent a lot of my career in San Francisco. So what is a debit VIX? Well, let's slow down a little bit. The VIX has the opposite. It's the volatility or fear index. And so it has the opposite relationship, right? So if you thought the market was going down, right, you would buy a call on the VIX, because as the market goes up, the volatility index, fear index goes up. So it has an opposite relationship, inverse. So a debit VIX put spread is bearish. Well, if you're buying a put on the VIX, you actually think that the market is going up, right? So I would like to see this thing. You're not going to see that on the test. You're simply going to see this idea of the VIX having an opposite relationship, right? But a debit VIX call spread be bearish when compared to the market. Again, Matt, I don't think you're going to see any spread involving the VIX, but the VIX is opposite. A debit put spread means the dominant leg is a long put. So that means you think the VIX is going down. That means you think the market is going up. So no, it's not bearish, it's bullish. A debit call spread. The dominant leg is a long call, which is bullish. If you're bullish on the VIX, that means you think the index is going up. That means you think the market is going down. So it's going to be bearish. Don't think you're going to see that at all. You will see the VIX. Been studying for 2 months, been getting mid-70s on Kaplan. Took the test geek, got 73. There's a very strong correlation to Brian's practice test, so you should feel good. Testing on Thursday, I think everything's good. I'm ready. Yeah, I think you're ready for sure. That's what I love about Brian's tests. I mean, his tests have a very strong correlation. I had Scott, somebody who got a 73 and they were scared. And I said, why are you fearful? That 73 we'll get it done. So, you know, that's a good thing. Well, as I just said, I have 5 recommendations for how to respond to the misfortune. And I will post that in the video description. So in the video description, I will post that either tonight or tomorrow, probably tomorrow. I'll tell you what the first recommendation is. The first recommendation on how to respond is while the hurt is fresh. I want you to go to the FINRA website. I want you to print the PDF of the SIE content outline. And what I want you to do is do an intellectual debrief with yourself. What I mean by that is go through that outline, either put a plus, 0, or minus next to each item. A plus means you were above par, that's passing. 0 means you think you were at par. Minus means things you saw that you weren't prepared for. It's counterintuitive, but what we're hoping is you have a lot of minuses and we know where to turn to actually, find you some more points. After you do the intellectual inventory, I put it away, refresh and reset, and then come back to it in about a week or so when it's fresh and start redoing your study, execution, your study plan based on that debrief. So that would be my recommendation to you. Oh, I don't want to do that. Yeah, I think it looks better. I just thought I'd change the screens there. Vegas, all right. Right on. Go. Knights, absolutely. Boy, I'll tell you, the Knight fans, they are good fans. This is on the 65, by the way. Okay, cool. So I think that's okay. 73 is a great score, as I said. That's fine. So don't panic. You got to finish strong. People get wobbly. You can't get wobbly. That's a good score. I was so proud of this lady. She passed, but she started to get wobbly on me. I said, that's what's going to cause you to miss your mark if you get wobbly. You got to finish strong. You've got to, again, this is the biggest advice. You have to be confident in the execution of your study plan. You have to be confident in yourself. And most importantly, you got to be confident in your answers on test date. I can't prove it, but anecdotally, that's worth 10 points. And so when people start second guessing themselves, that's when a 73 turns into a fail. It has nothing to do with your score. Your score is fine. I think we talked about that already. Well, that's great. Get the job. If you got the job, then I think you get to take the exams, right? So, some people have to take the exams on speculation because you don't need sponsorship for SIE or any of the NASAA exams. So some people go take that exam and then they find sponsorship for the 6 or 7. So I think that's a wonderful thing. Particularly if they'll pay for your materials and pay for your exams, that's wonderful. The difference between per steepies and per capita. Yeah, if you just put that, James, in the channel search bar, it'll come up. Is it going to all your descendants or just your living descendants? It depends on the state. So just go ahead and put that in my channel search bar and you'll see a couple questions where you can practice your skills on that. It's very low probability. I had a few option questions I've never seen before. Well, I don't know what to say about that, Jessica. I don't know who your test prep vendor is. The question would have two options. They would say it closed at 12. What does that even mean? Okay, well, there's opening transactions and closing transactions. Last week, Jessica, I had somebody who on social media asked me for my help. And I said, I can't help you right now because I'm long in the casino. I just did an opening purchase for $5,000, right? So I went long. Now, when I'm ready to go close out and go home, I'm going to do a closing sale. So if Dean did an opening purchase for 5 Gs, I did my closing sale for 12 Gs, I'm up $7,000. So when it says it closed at 12, they're saying you should close it out for that premium, right? So your customer does an opening purchase at, several weeks later, he closes at 12, or he closes out for intrinsic value. Jessica, you need to watch my videos. There's lots of ways to do options. I say you should be able to track the money in and out. I think the best way to do that is with a T, dollars out versus dollars in. And then you need to know contract specifications. You can't be fumbling around that a short put is an obligation to buy the stock. I will link to my options playlist. It's free. And its first 4 videos are everything found on the Series 7. The first video in the series is Introduction to Options. That's good for everybody. SIE, 7, 65. The second video is Basic Option Strategies. That's good for SIE. That's, by the way, also in the SIE playlist. And good for the Series 7 and the 65. The third video is Stock plus Options. Hedging. That's covered calls, protective puts, that kind of thing. And the fourth video is only for the Series 7, and that's Advanced Option Strategies. So, Jessica, if you watch those 4 videos, you're into it for 4 hours all in. You can also put into the channel search bar closing transactions or opening transactions or opening purchase, and that'll all come up. There'll be all kinds of videos and questions where I've walked people through closing out option positions. So watch some videos. Past the SIE and the 6. Jessica, one more point. I will link in the video description to option opening and closing transaction. I have a little 10, 15-minute video on that, and I'll link that in the video description for you. That's not part of the 4 I just told you. It's just a carve out of that topic. Well, thank you. That's very gratifying to me when the channel, contributes to testing victories like yours, Greg. So kudos on your testing victories. 63, to go 3-0, you got to go 2-0. So you're at 2-0. Let's make it 3-0. I'm sending you good test vibes. Get that hat trick done. Yeah, Jeff, if you might want to go into our Facebook group, and there's a chat for 65, put it there. You can also put it in our Reddit community. There's also another Reddit called R65, which just has 65 people in it. You can put it there. You can also put it in the 66. If I see you do that, Jeff, I'll promote it on my social media as well. So, I'll help you push it so you can find some folks. Taking the Series 10, Catherine. All right, sales supervisor in the house. Well, not yet, but going to be. On 12/21, boy, a lot of people are testing right there before Christmas. I love it. High 80s, love it. High mid 70s. I think you're looking good, Catherine. I don't see any red flags there. Yeah, that's always going to happen with different vendors. I'm not worried about it. Here's why. I think Past Perfect is too fat in general. I mean, on all their preps. I guess too much is better than not enough. But, I think Past Perfect really takes people into weeds on every exam. I don't think STC does. So I would be more concerned if it was the opposite, right? So I think between those two, I like it, Catherine. If you have the resources, I don't believe anybody is monogamous when it comes to studying. I mean, I don't believe you just watch my channel and no others. Anybody can help you. I believe that particularly on the 10s and the 24s, if you can get those Q banks, 2 Q banks, what you're really looking for, Catherine, is confirmation of the test issues. In other words, you saw it in STC and Past Perfect, confirmation. If you just see it in Past Perfect, you don't see it in STC, I wouldn't worry about it. Or you can, Catherine, you can send me an email, dean@guruexamprep.com, and I can tell you whether we need to worry about it or not. I know nothing, John D, about Churchill Asset Management, so I have no idea. I'm not familiar with them. Well, thanks, Bryce. Woo! It's a little different. Yeah, I got to figure out, my channel is a little different in that regard. So, I don't think people get that. So, even the YouTube people, I say you don't kind of get what I'm doing. It's a little different than what other people are doing on YouTube. I'm using STC for my 66. Great. What would be a good supplement? QBank, Kaplan for sure. So go get the Kaplan QBank. Comes with a performance tracker. 15% discount code at checkout is Guru15. And I think that would be a great, great supplement. You're using STC already. I don't know if Passberg even lets you buy the QBank separately. I'm not sure if they do. And I'm not sure if Notman does. So that's what I would recommend. What represents a strong market, high, low volume, narrow, broad market? I had this question on Series 7. Well, Jessica, I don't know, did you miss the mark? I'm trying to remember if you told us you missed the mark. It looks like you had a question. I don't know enough from this, but it looks like the question was about technical analysis. And in technical analysis, we're looking for confirmation of a trend. And we don't get confirmation of a trend when there's low volume. We would be looking as a technical practitioner for the market being up on high volume. We'd like to see more advances than declines. And so that's what we mean by when we say relative strength as it applies to technical analysis. Narrow, I'm not sure what you mean by narrow or broad, but we would want confirmation of the trend based on various indexes. And we have broad-based indexes like the S&P. We have narrow-based indexes like the Russell 2000. So I would like some more information on that, but it sounds like what you had was a question about technical analysis. All right, this 4, woo! Registered option principal in the house. All right. You are welcome, my friend. You are welcome. 66. Wow. Oh, excuse me. Thank you so much. The thing that has made our channel number one is the contribution we make to testing victories like yours, and then the referrals from victorious test takers like you. So thank you so much. Love referrals. And, I always joke with people, this part of our business, preparing people to pass their tests, is kind of pretty easy, right? If we contribute, then you're going to be happy. If we don't contribute, you're going to be sad. Pass the SIE. Woo! End of the month, full-time student using Kaplan. There you go. So Taylor, I think you're in good shape, right? You got full-time student. Man, that's a great place to be, right? One thing I would tell you, Taylor, is don't burn yourself out. Make sure you pace yourself. When people are studying full-time, sometimes I think they go a little overkill. You can only do so much of this before your brain just goes tilt. Most people are wired for about 45 minutes to an hour and a half of sustained concentration. So Taylor, if I were your corporate trainer and you were a full-time student at my firm, I'd say, Taylor, I want you to commit to 4 study blocks of 90 minutes. 90-minute study block, 30-minute break, 90-minute study block, 30-minute break, 90-minute study block, 30-minute break. That's an 8-hour day, Taylor. And that is plenty of studying. I would also recommend that you rotate your activity. So if your morning study block, you're reading, second study block, doing practice questions, third study block, maybe watching videos, fourth study block, maybe doing quizzes, whatever. If you rotate activity, I'd also want you to rotate subject area. So, if you do munis in the morning session, maybe options in the third session. If you rotate both your activity and subject area as a full-time student, I think you'll stay fresher longer. And then, Taylor, in terms of weekends, if you're a full-time studier, what a blessing to be a full-time student. But make sure you keep your rhythm. So, what I mean by that is do a little enough just on Saturday, perhaps, so you're not coming in completely cold on Friday. Give yourself permission if you're a full-time student. This goes for everybody, by the way, depending on your timeline. You've got to give yourself one day where you don't do any of this. You just let your brain kind of relax. So if you're a full-time studier, I'd say, what do you want to take as your day off, Saturday or Sunday? It look probably Sunday, maybe, right? And then you come back and rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. So I think that's a good place to be. 83, woohoo! Oh my goodness, that's weird. That is a statistical anomaly. When that happens, what most of the time is that somebody has memorized questions and answers rather than actually understood the content. I'm not sure if that's your situation, Conwitz, but that's usually, I know you probably want to hear it, but you are a statistical anomaly. I have had all kinds of people. I love adapt and overcome. You've got your 63. It's a lot of overlap on the 65 from your 66 and overlap from your 63. I've had many people do this and pass. So I would think you're going to be in business on Friday. You're going to have your 63, your 65, and that's the equivalent of your 66. And I'm hoping you didn't have to wait 30 days because that's the great thing, right? If Conwitz misses his 66, he doesn't have to wait 30 days to take a 63 and a 65. I had one guy, I'm not recommending this. I recommend passing your 66. And if you're taking a 7, I don't think there's people, I think this is asinine, saying don't take a 66, take a 63, 65 from the get-go. I don't know why you would do that. It's just foolish. But when this happens, and this is kind of a way to kind of adapt and overcome. But in this case, Conwitz, the guy was actually thought he was going to lose his job. And this was a Friday. And so he went right away, and somehow he got a test date. I think he was willing to travel or whatever. And he went Monday, and he took a 63, 65 on the same day. Came into work Tuesday. Said, I failed my 66, but I have a 63, 65. So, yeah, I think there's going to be, there should be correlation. So that's surprising to me. I think Test Geek and Kaplan, I think, have the strongest correlation. So, do the 60. I just answered this question. I think this is so stupid because where does the 66 come from? I'm dating myself. I'm an OG. I was around doing this before there even was a 65. And when they came up with a 65, people had 7s bitched and said, man, that 63 and the 65, why do I have to take these 2 exams? And so FINRA specifically came up with the 66 to make your life easier. It's 100 questions. There's less stuff on it. The 65 has more stuff on it. You just probably heard me tell my friend Michael, I think the 65 is really tough. So my recommendation is you do it like it's supposed to be done. SIE 766. If you fail the 66, then circle back 63, 65. Right? People were telling people to do 63, 65. That's just stupid. And if you tell your corporate trainer or anybody who has any kind of background in this business, they're going to say, what the hell are you doing? Why would you want to take 2 tests instead of 1? That's just stupid. Right? I ask you, do you want to go slay 2 dragons? Or do you want to go slay 1 dragon? Well, I would go for slaying the 1 dragon. Hi, Melissa. For spreads, credit and debit. Well, Chris, on the dominant leg, how you determine bullish or bearish is not based on whether it's a credit or debit. You determine bullish or bearish by the leg that has the greater premium, right? So credit means you have more money in than out. Debit means you have more money out than in. You're either buying the spread, debit spread, or you're selling the spread, credit spread, right? So you don't determine it. For example, a credit put spread is bullish because I'm selling the higher strike put. I'm hoping it expires and I get to keep the money. But I say, you know what? Just in case, I'll buy the lower strike put. So in case it blows up on me and somebody sticks it to me, I can stick it to the next guy. The dominant leg is that higher strike put because higher strike puts always have greater premiums. In a credit call spread, I'm selling the Apple 240s, but I go, well, gee, I want the Apple to expire so I can keep the money, but just in case, I'll buy the 250s. That's a credit call spread. And it's bearish because I'm short the call. I'm selling the call spread. So it's a greater premium. The mantra, I'll link Chris in the video description for you, but here's the mantra. The mantra is lower, higher, longer. Lower, higher, longer. Lower strike call contracts always have greater premiums. A choice to buy Apple at a lower price is more desirable. And so at a call spread, the lower strike call is always dominant. So if you're buying the lower strike call, you're bullish. If you're selling the lower strike call, you're bearish. Lower, higher, longer. Lower, higher, longer. Higher strike put contracts always have greater premiums. A choice to sell at a higher price is more desirable. It'll have a greater premium. So the higher strike put is going to be dominant. If you're buying it, it's bearish. The spread is bearish. You're selling it, it's bullish. Lower, higher, longer. Lower strike calls are dominant. Higher strike puts are dominant. Longer term option contracts always have greater premiums. And so in a calendar spread, the longer term option is going to be the dominant leg. Is it always whatever the dominant option? That's right. It's the option with the greater premium. I just told you how to attack that, Chris, even if you're missing the premium, right? I will link, Chris, to a video I have called Identifying the Spread. And I'll put that in the video description for you. Well, Dave, well, thank you, Melissa. I don't know about being famous, I do have people who, when they, I show up in real, they go, "You're a real person." I go, "Yeah, I'm real." Ivy, we got to get you on the schedule. Good news. I'm going into the holiday season, so we should have lots of time. So make sure I reach out to you. I'll do that. And let's get you on the schedule. Let's get that obligation I have to you. I'm short with Ivy, right? Ivy is long. She won. Listen, let's be very clear. I'm only doing this for Ivy because she's been a loyal subscriber and viewer. When we do our drawing, you do not win a free hour of tutoring with me at a date and time of your choice. That is not what you win on the drawing. If you want to spend an hour with me at a date and time of your choosing, that's $250 an hour. What you win is access to the office hours, which is only for paid students. And so, but Ivy, I told her I'd work with her, and so we're going to set something up. And so let's be clear. That's Ivy's the last winner of a session with Dean. What you win is the session or the class that's already on the booking page. So I'll explain that again when we get there. I'll tell you, I can't get over my 72 fail. That hurts, man, Melissa. It certainly hurts, doesn't it? I mean, it's 93 correct, not 92, or 92, not 91. It's one question that hurts for sure. I'm with you. Email. I don't know. Did I not answer to your email? I'll check my email, Moises. I really get a ton of emails. I'm not a flake. You have my permission to email, but I literally get hundreds of emails from people. So unless it's somebody who's spending money with me or I know who you are, it can fall through the cracks. And so I will look again, and you should wait for my response. If you don't, feel free to nudge me and send me another one and say, "Dean, what's up?" First time live. All right. Feely, I hope we're playing that right. Well, welcome. As interest rate rises, what happens to the dividend? It doesn't change, Jessica, but the dividend is fixed or stated. Doesn't go up. So while preferred stock is equity on the issuer's balance sheet, it's a fixed income investment vehicle. And all fixed income investment vehicles, including preferred stock, have an inverse relationship with interest rates. So if interest rates go up, the preferred stock in the secondary market will go down. The amount of dividends you're getting is not unaffected. No, the dividend is 6%. It's just, if you're getting 6% and brand new preferreds pay 9%, your 6% preferred is worth less. It's still paying 6%, just like the coupon on a bond. The coupon on the bond doesn't change. So the income stream from the fixed income investment vehicle does not fluctuate with interest rates. The price does. And the price, remember, goes up or down, because if I have a 6% bond and brand new ones pay 8%, my 6% bond isn't as valuable. People will buy it from me, but at a discount. I always joke, right? If anybody asks you about economics, investments, or finance, you want to sound smart, you should say it has a lot to do with interest rates. And if you just shut up, you sound good. People say, "Well, what about them?" You say, "They fluctuate. Can you tell me more?" I do, Jessica, get lots of people. I don't know where this comes from, but on debrief, people say, "Dean, I had more preferred stock questions than I was expecting." And I don't really know how to respond to that, because I don't know how many they were expecting, right? So, any news on the new 65 exam? I failed twice, but not giving up, going back again. The Q Bank from Kaplan, I should disclose, I am a official social media influencer for Kaplan. Kaplan hires my LLC to do all kinds of things for Kaplan, help them on content, teach classes for them, sell stuff. So obviously, I'm going to tell you, I think Kaplan's the best. But I wouldn't be doing any of that for them if I didn't believe that. So yes, that's. I don't think you're at risk having STC or Knopman. I think you can be at risk for some people on Past Perfect because, as I mentioned, they just give you too much stuff, I think. But too much is better than not enough. I'm not a fan of Exam FX and training consultants because I think they're too skinny. I think there's a need to supplement there. And I'm not a big fan of Achievable because of lack of correlation of their QBank to the actual exam. So there you go. There's my thoughts on test prep vendors. I think STC, Knopman, Kaplan, that puts you on the broad avenues and highways. Well, I don't know. I think it's easier. So this is what I would say. The STC QBanks are, what's the right way to say this? There's not as many performance opportunities, practice questions. And so what can happen in STC is I told you this can happen even in Kaplan Past Perfect or Knopman, but when people sometimes get high scores that we were looking for, and then they still miss the mark, it's usually a result of having memorized questions and answers and not understanding the concept. I would say it's easier to accidentally memorize STC questions and answers because there's not as many of them. So I don't think you're at risk, but I would recommend a supplement. And again, you can get a Kaplan QBank as a supplement for as little as $50, $60. So I highly recommend that. If you have Kaplan, you can buy STC supplemental exams, but there's not a whole lot of them. And they charge, big money. Series 766, State Life. I will get reimbursed. Fantastic. Great is that, right? Get paid to learn stuff. I just think that's wonderful. John, thanks for joining us from Facebook. We broadcast to LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. Our preferred platform is indeed YouTube, but I love seeing people from Facebook and LinkedIn joining us. I would have people studying for the financial test to tune in to Dean. Well, thank you. I have a whole podcast series on the SIE. I have a podcast series on the 7. I have a podcast series on 65 and 66. So yeah, check them out. Thank you. Pass your SIE on November 30th. Well, you haven't found it? Well, there you go. So you got I think, a good foot in the door, so to speak, because you have initiative. You've already got an SIE. They don't have to worry about that kind of hurdle. So I think you'll be able to find something. Oh, Nuveen. I thought Nuveen. Well, of course, I've heard of the Teachers, John. The Teachers Insurance Annuity Association. Right on. They're huge. Who could think you get trillions of dollars from teachers? Not just teachers. That's why I think they changed. Didn't they change the name of teachers? Did they change it to Churchill? That's probably why. I think Nuveen, the guy they hired, I think they got a new guy now, but they had a guy they hired who was formerly a Merrill. I know they were trying to broaden out their client base as well as their offerings. So, yeah, I think that's a wonderful opportunity. When I was a baby broker, John, Nuveen, I'm not sure if they still are big in this business, but Nuveen was one of the number one providers of unit investment trusts. And what they would offer is fixed portfolios of muni bonds that were chosen for both income and quality, like the California Nuveen Unit Trust 287. And I sold a lot of those as a baby broker. Yeah, well, I get that a lot. I mean, we're getting easier to find because we show up now a lot more in Google searches and YouTube searches. As I said, I don't game any of the algorithms, so it's all organic and natural. But I was even surprised the other day that somebody put in FINRA content outline and my video came up instead of FINRA's content outline. So I'm like, whoa. But I don't do any of those hashtags or, any of that stuff. So I don't actually, what they call it, like SEO. And I get people, Melissa, who will solicit me how much they could improve my channel in terms of showing up in churches and searches. And I usually tell them, Melissa, I just worry about trying to help people pass their tests. And, it seems to work. So I use Kaplan. There you go. Failed first time, second time, 71, all the questions I've asked today came from the actual exam. Well, there you go. Hot debrief. I love hot debrief. So that means she just came out of the cave and the dragon, saw the dragon. So I call that hot debrief, Jessica. That's my favorite debrief, right? we're not allowed to ask you like, what was question 35, but we can say, what can we do a better job, helping you prepare for? By the way, remember there's two areas that I would know this idea. The dividend is fixed or stated. In preferred stock, you definitely need to know that in a preferred stock, the dividend is fixed or stated, right? It's a 6% preferred. It'll always be a 6% preferred. That is not changing. The other way that gets tested sometimes on tips. And Treasury inflation protected securities, the coupon never changes. The principal value does. Once again, this idea of the principal value goes up and down, but not that payment, not that coupon, that nominal yield or fixed or stated rate of return. There we go. We'll take care of you, Ivy. We'll get it done, I promise. Hi, Dean. Thank you so much for your channel. Pass the SIE 663. Love the 60-minute videos. Yeah, Andrew, I have those for everyone. I'm trying to come up with a new name and do a second version, like series 6 and 60 minutes part 2. So if you have any ideas of what we would call another version of that, where we would highlight it, and it'd be pretty much the same content, but it would give somebody another chance to warm up with 60 minutes. Yeah, past perfect. I told you. I was telling a very senior person, Melissa at Kaplan, I said, the salesmen and women at Past Perfect deserve a bonus. And he said, why? I said, they have somehow convinced broker dealers that there's some added value to tormenting people trying to pass their tests. I think product knowledge, Melissa, comes from sales efforts, not taking tests. But I think Past Perfect has told some employers, not only can Melissa pass her test, but, she'll be ready to roll in terms of product knowledge. I think those are two separate things. But that's where I think it can cause people sometimes to struggle, because you can really get into the quicksand of Past Perfect. And sometimes you can't get yourself out of that quagmire that they have in some of their content. Regulations show I do not. I probably do, but in the context of a short sale, Catherine, about the locate requirement. I don't have a video, I think, called Reg Sho. I wouldn't be surprised if you put that in the channel search bar, something comes up, maybe a practice question or something like that. I wouldn't worry too much about muni bonds. There are 2 muni bond questions on Series 10. For the most part, munis and FINRA rules are very similar. But where they're a little different on Series 10, I'd be aware of that the MSRB does not have a 5% policy. The 5% policy is for FINRA secondary transactions. The MSRB simply says that whatever you're charging in the secondary market should be fair and reasonable. Another testable distinction is for FINRA, customer complaints are a 4-year record. And for MSRB, customer complaints are a 6-year record. Regulations show is about a locate requirement. And if you don't make delivery of the stock, we're going to buy you in, right? So a fail to deliver means the person who sold the stock has not delivered it to me, the buying broker dealer. So from your perspective, Catherine, it's a fail to deliver. From my perspective, it's a fail to receive. And so that means I can buy you in. I said, Catherine, I'm tired of waiting around for you. So here's your notice that I plan on buying you in unless you make delivery. And usually I give you T plus 1, get you a couple extensions, and then I can buy you in. Sellouts I can do anytime. Sellout means you're not paying me for the security. Brian Lee has a great video, and I'll link it in the video description, Catherine, on buy-ins and sellouts and all those little nuances to it. And I haven't made a video on it because I just think his is so excellent. And I've had 10s and 24s. I think it's mainly for 24s, but it wouldn't hurt you to watch it. And it's about this. It's more of a 24 issue than 10, but it certainly could be on the 10. All right. You're welcome, Alicia. You're welcome. Pass the SIE. Woohoo! 3rd try. Wow. I love it, Alicia. That bodes so well for your future success in our securities industry, because, man, you not only passed the SIE, you passed a test of your resiliency. Woo! One of my best brokers, Alicia, took the test 5 times. He used to go out to people and say, hey, listen, if anybody knows this stuff, it's me. I had to take the damn test 5 times. People invest with you because they like you and they trust you, not because you can pass exams. So kudos. That's 2 bell rings there, my friend. That's 2 bell rings. So kudos. What's next? Is it 7 or 6, or you're just taking the SIE for your own edification? Series 20 loves to flip-flop AA ratios on their head. Yeah, net capital isn't a big deal on the Series 24, Aaron. But remember, there are 3 standards of net capital for a broker-dealer. In the late 60s, Aaron, a lot of broker-dealers went bankrupt and we couldn't find the customers' monies in securities. Embarrassing. And public confidence in the securities industry was seriously eroded. And we said, those bankers are onto something. They got that sign on the door that says FDIC. And it makes people feel warm and fuzzy about leaving their money at a bank. We need to come up with our version of that. As you can see, I took my firm was called Gamma Global, and I took the SIPC. I don't know if you can see it, but that's the sign from my broker dealer when I had a broker dealer. And if we had a sign like that, people feel warm and fuzzy about leaving money with the broker dealer. And so net capital are the rules about fiscal responsibility, basically what's behind that sign. And the net capital of a broker dealer is based on a bank, kind of like a bank, the scope of your business. And the 3 standards are a hard dollar amount, an AI to net capital number, aggregate indebtedness is what you can owe customers on others. And the third one is how much of your net capital can be in the form of a subordinated loan. And so it's the ratios, and you should be able to have the flip, but the test will be pretty straightforward. As you know, in the very rarely does a broker dealer fail because we can't come with our dollar amount, man. Cling from 250. It's the AI to net capital number that broker dealers struggle with. I mean, if we take Schwab's customer assets of $4 trillion, remember customer assets, those aren't Schwab's assets, and we divide by 15, we're going to find out that Schwab needs hundreds of millions of dollars in capital to support the aggregate indebtedness of what they owe customers and others, right? That's what that is. As a first-year firm, 8 to 1. As an existing firm, 15 to 1. And then you're right, we could express it as $8 in aggregate indebtedness to $1 net capital, or your point, $1 net capital to $8 in aggregate indebtedness. And then that debt to equity is 70%. We can't have more than 70% of our net capital in the form of a subordinated loan for more than 90 days. And that is very testable, Aaron. So make sure you know about temporary subordinated loans, more than 3 in a 12-month period. They're 45 days. They're only used for firm commitment underwritings. Make sure you know about a long-term subordinated loan, minimum term of a year. That stuff is way more testable than the actual numbers. And then 12 to 1 is actually early warning, right? When you're getting close. This is embarrassing because I used to teach 27, 28s, and I'm the 27 at Gamma Global. That's my firm. And Michelle comes to me, she goes, "We're in violation of net capital." I go, "We are?" I think I would know that. Apparently, Aaron, she grabbed the template for a first-year firm. We're not a first-year firm. And so when she did that, we were at 9 to 1, but we're an established firm, so that's fine. This is embarrassing. And before she told me, she's not even the 27. She's studying for 27. She actually called FINRA and, SEC and said Gamma Global is in violation of net capital. I go, "We're not." Now I had to call them all back and go, "Never mind." So embarrassing. They said, "Well, Dean, why don't you send us a focus report every month?" I go, I'm with you. That's probably a good idea. Let's see. Did I finish up your question? Do you mind touching on how A might get presented as debt? Yeah, just on 24, just recognition. I don't think I'm making you do any practical application of net capital. Basic, by the way, because Aaron, you're not supposed to be doing this anyway. You're 27, 28 is. So a general understanding of haircuts, I think you're pretty good. I think you touched all of them here. Let's see. I think you're missing, the only thing you're missing here is the dollars amounts, right? 50,000. If I want to do fully disclosed and I want to be able to be a selling group member in a firm commitment underwriting. So that stuff is testable too, right? 100,000 is my floor as a market maker. $1 million is my ceiling. If I'm clearing 250, I would know that when you have more than one standard, Aaron, of net capital, I would know you got to rise and meet whatever your highest standard is, right? So if I'm both a clearing firm and market maker's 100, the clearing firm's 250, so 250 is the number. So if you tell me, I think we have a couple 24s in the house. So if you tell me you missed your mark on 24 because of fiscal responsibility, net capital, I'm going to say, I think there are problems. I don't want to put out negative vibes here, but when I lose somebody on 24, I usually lose somebody who's a packaged product person. And, they're not familiar with investment banking and trading. That's where I tend to lose folks. The guys who are traders and bankers, they struggle with the retail part of it, but, it's not a big a deal for them as it would be for other folks. Looks like we're coming to the end of our session tonight. Could I review order or procedures for new options accounts? Very, very testable. So a good memory aid device, John, is Dado 15. This process is very testable. The D is I give you the disclosure document. I say, John, this is the OCC disclosure document. This is all the bad things that can happen to you. It's 100 plus pages. You can't possibly read it while we wait. I'm going to go back and see if I can get your account approved. That's the A. Let's see if my registered option principal will approve your account. He'll say, Dean, did you give John the disclosure document? I said, I did. He said, okay, I'm approving him. I call you. I say, John, I got you approved. We can do our first trade. That's the T. Dado 15. I say, John, I need back from you within 15 days of account approval, the option agreement that you read that booklet and you understood it. If it's late, I'm only going to let you do offsetting transactions. So let's say the 15th day has come and gone. And I call you and you say, hey, Dean, I'm glad you called, man. I need to buy some Tesla puts. I said, well, no can do, John. The reason I'm calling is we haven't got back the option agreement, so you can only do closing transactions. This came up earlier in our discussion, right? You can do a closing sale on options that you're already long or a closing purchase on options you're already short. Yeah, go get some sleep. Absolutely. The sleep is the most important thing. I don't know about you, John. When I'm tired, my reading skills are greatly diminished. And you want your reading skills to be in top form tomorrow. So yeah, go get some sleep. Practicing questions or reviewing content. I would think with 4 days, I'd like you to do not practice questions, practice test. What are you scoring on a practice test? If you have 4 days, I would want 2 more practice test scores, marks, intellectual inventories, and remediation. And I'd like those to be in the mid-70s. I think we just did that. Pass Perfect is just one of the test prep vendors. So in this space of people who prepare people to pass tests, Notman, STC, Training Consultants, ExamFX, Kaplan, one of the firms is called Pass Perfect. I should throw Pass Masters in there. There's a lot of people, Susie. Scored 80, you should be fine. Well, I don't think there's anything to be worried. Don't beat yourself up. The test will do that, Michael. You take the test. Don't let the test take you. So I don't think you need to adjust. There's nothing there that makes me think you need to adjust. That's great. It's where you need to be. Ring those bells. Woo! Yeah, right. Hi, Isaac. Hi, my friend. Hi. 60, 70. I like those in the 70s. Next week. Should do this week to lock into the exam. Yeah. What should you do? You got a week. I'd like to see 2 more practice test scores, maybe 3. And ideally, I'd like to see 1 in the mid 70s so we get some margin of safety. There you go. In this format, Andres, we're at the end of our hour. The answer is no, because our hour is up. However, you can go to my channel and in the search part, put margin or SMA. I have a class replay of margin. I have tutoring replays of me doing margin and SMA. I just in the session previously went over SMA on a whiteboard. I'll put that up. You can check it out tomorrow. So there's plenty of opportunities for you. Again, margin, don't overdose. On the Series 7, there's only 3 or 4 margin questions. They're very straightforward. There are other more target-rich environments for you. Where do you go for pretest questions? I'm not sure what you're asking. You have to buy a vendor who will provide you with a manual and practice questions. So that's part of your previous question, right? You need to go to Notman or Kaplan or STC, and these are test prep vendors. I recommend Kaplan. And you can buy a Series 7 course. It comes with a manual, a QBank, videos, that kind of thing. On my channel, there is a whole playlist of practice tests where you can watch them and hit pause and play. There you go. Well, you're welcome. My pleasure. All right. Let's see how many people we got here. Let's see if Dean can grab the giveaway tool. And let's see. We'll choose a live stream. Let's say, boom. And let me go see now. Boom, boom, boom. If you'd like to participate, let me get rid of that. You need to put pass into the chat exactly as you see it on the screen. So exactly as you see it on the screen. If you want to participate, and then we'll spin the wheel of fortune and we'll see who wins tonight's thing. So let's see, we got only 3 participants. There we go. You've got to be exactly as you see it, on the screen there. All right, are we ready to hit the wheel? Anybody else? Last call. Going once. Okay, so Rosa, you are the winner. So let's be clear what you just won. If you go to, let me get the banner here. If you go to Dean Tinney tutoring.setmore.com, what you have won is access to, where is it? Boom, boom, boom. There we go. You've won access to my office hours, which are free for paid students. And so you don't need to do anything other than go there and register for that, as well as any class that you see on the schedule there. You're welcome. If there is a class that you'd like, there's a paywall and you'll have to, send me an email so I can give you the link so you don't have to pay any money for that. All right, let's see. So any more comments? All right, well, remember, inch by inch, your exam is a cinch. Yard by yard, your exam is hard. And I'll see you next Tuesday for the last live stream Q&A of 2024. Wow. Hard to believe. We're coming up on our 4-year anniversary. I started the channel 4 years ago as of December 20th as one of my New Year's resolutions. I said during COVID, I said, man, who knows if I'm ever going to be able to teach a live class ever again. And so I started the YouTube channel. It was kind of funny because the only thing I know how to do is hit play and record. And, when I started the channel, everybody said, nobody, Dean, is going to watch hour-long videos. They only are going to watch 5 minutes, 15 minutes max. I go, hey, well, what can I tell you? Then we'll see what happens. And it was kind of interesting because I didn't know even at the time that you could monetize it. Who would have thunk that? But come to find out, YouTube loves long format because, you can watch longer. So, that's being one of those serendipity. You are welcome, John. You are welcome. All right. So, Rosa, yeah, you got, you're the winner. You're the winner. So I'll see everybody next Tuesday. If you need to get a hold of me, you can do so at dean@guruexamprep.com. I think Moisey, I think you said I didn't get your email. I'll look as soon as we're done here and see if I find it and I'll respond. All right, everybody. Bye-bye.